Hey guys, this is Fergal from Poker VIP. We're here for part 4 of grinding twisters over on Coral Poker. So I'm going to be taking over for John for part 4. He had to get called in some reinforcements. All he could hit were some doubles throughout the rest of the series, so he's called me in to see if I can get a bit of run good going. So we're going to be grinding some €10 twisters. I'm going to be playing for around 20 minutes or so, and hopefully we will be able to turn a bit of a profit on our day. So, as mentioned, we're going to be playing over on Coral Poker. Let me just see here. So we've opened up the Queen and the Jack. We've flopped a good shot. As good a hand as any to have a C-bet on this board. We take it down. We are up immediately, which is always nice. Exact same hand, so we're going to be bringing this in for a raise as well. So as I was saying, we're going to be playing over on Coral Poker. As I'm sure you're all well aware, we have some fantastic offers if you wish to partake in these kinds of games. When you sign up for Coral Poker over on Poker VIP, you will get 30% rake back. You get up to a 200% deposit bonus. You get entered into a 75k rake race. If you're playing the twisters over on Coral Poker, there's also a 30k Coral Twister race. And also, when you deposit €5, you will get €20 in tournament tickets, absolutely free of charge as well. So we open up the Queen Jack. We saw a flop. We checked the flop, we turned a pair, we're going to bet our pair. We have the toppest of the pairs, and we have the toppest of the two pairs now. Interesting that this guy just donks out like this. I mean, we have top two pair. We're ahead of most of his hands. Let's go ahead and have a raise. He donk bets pot and he folds. This is the sort of nonsense that you're dealing with over on Coral Poker. This is how bad the standard of play there is. That donk bet was just absolutely not necessary for that size. We have the dreaded 7 and the deuce. We are going to be checking and seeing if we can play that game where we flop a purr. We don't. We're not planning on putting any more money in. We've got a really comfortable situation now. Like, this guy to our right has not many chippies at all. This guy to our left is in around starting stack, but I mean, we've not a million miles off doubled up, so we have over half the chips in play, so we're not going to be looking to make any kinds of crazy mistakes or anything like that. I feel like a bet here should be successful reasonably often, but I mean, for a 40 chip pot, I don't know if it's worth trying for it. I'm just going to check this back. I mean, I can see him calling down really likely there with with kind of ace high, king high type hands with the way this has gone. Obviously with a 7 high, I bet would have gotten through, so we chopped the pot when we didn't have to, but these things happen. We're going to play the limping game with the 8 and the 9. Let's see if we can see a free flop, or a cheap flop, should I say. We flop a pair, which is nice. We're going to check, and we're not folding. Betting out here doesn't really accomplish too much. We eliminate our opponent's ability to bluff, and we risk getting raised overhand as well. We're going to check again. We pick up a gut shot, which is nice, but if this guy double barrels here, we're probably going to give him credit and fold. It seems not all that likely that he is going to be double barrel bluffing when we go for the check and the call. Interesting that he checks back. We are going to check again and decide now if he decides to bet. We're going to actually have a pretty tough decision depending on his sizing. Fortunately, he checks back and we win, which is nice. One downside there is that we did show our hand when we limped, and we showed that we're limping hands like 8-9. That's one thing that I'm not a huge fan of. We get jammed on with the kings, which is fantastic news. We obviously call. He's got the ace and the 7. He hits his ace. We hopefully will bink a king, but if not, we're back down to starting stack, which we are. We're close enough to it. So we lose the 65-35, but these things are going to happen, and they're going to happen an absolute ton in twisters. We'll be on the better end of them as well down the road, so it all comes in swings and roundabouts. We're not going to worry too much about it. We're going to be checking the 5-6 suited here. We've very little fold equity versus this guy, so we're going to play the pair where we hopefully flop a purr, play the game where we hopefully flop a purr and get the money in. We still have 6 high, so we fold. So we're still really alive in this tournament. We have a little over 10 BBs. We have the pocket 9s. We're going to be all in. Dealer, give us some favorable flops, please. So we need to fade the ace again. So similar situation with the kings versus the ace. He gets there. We pick up a flush draw, but we don't manage to bink. So we feel like we're getting pretty hard done by here. We've gotten it in 265 equity spots, and we've lost them both. But these things are going to happen, as I said. King 4 suited, when we have not many BBs, is going to be a jam on the button. If we just take this down, we increase our stack by a pretty hefty percentage. And if we get called, I mean, we still have a suited king. It has some equity for sure versus a lot of hands that are going to be calling us. Queen King suited is also going to be a jam. We're not folding if this guy jams. The only thing is he hasn't been jamming that wide, so he's been playing the limping game a lot. We're just going to ship it on him. If he folds here, that's a fine result for us. If he calls, we don't mind too much either. But he does go ahead and fold. So our stack is back up in business a little bit. We're still obviously struggling after the 2 losses, but we're still in okay-ish shape. Ish. It's a big ish. The Jack and the Queen, we are going to be ripping. Oh, sorry. Brought up the lobby by mistake. We get called by Ace High, which is absolutely reasonable. We're on the better side of the flips this time, or are we? The dreaded ace on the turn, so that has done it for us here. We're going to go ahead, we're going to play another one. So, as I said, definitely on the unluckier side there. We get it in, we had 3 all-in situations, we lost all 3, 2 of which we had a substantial advantage, and 1 of which we had a minor disadvantage. But these things, as I said, they're not all that unlikely, and they are going to happen. And when you're playing these kinds of games, there are going to be a lot of all-ins very, very quickly. That one was only a double. Let's hopefully this one's going to be a bit bigger. This one's a 4x, which is nice. If we win this one, we are up 100% in ROI for the day so far. If we win, that's a big if. It's a decent hand to start it off with, though. So we're going to bring the Jack and the King suited in for a raise. We got a click back on us. We're going to call, or are we going to re-raise? I think we're going to flat call. I mean, we're definitely not folding. That's the only thing I know for sure. Let's go ahead and call and see a flop. Pretty bad flop for us. Pretty bad flop. We're going to check back. And we are debating starting to bluff at this now. We're going to have a bet, and we're going to jam river if he just flat calls. But he folds, which is nice. So I'm just going to explain my rationale there. When he checks to us twice there, he is going to have an ace very, very rarely. But he is going to have, like when he min clicks us back there, he's going to have a decent amount of strongish pocket pairs, I feel. So if we bet a single street, I don't expect a lot of those pairs to fold. But when we jam the river, I think a hand like pocket tens, pocket jacks is going to have to fold pretty frequently. So that was my rationale there, but fortunately we didn't have to unleash the second barrel. We call the big blind with our ace high. We're going to try to check this down. Ace high is some showdown value here. If it goes check, check, I think we win a decent percentage of the time, which we do. We're not going to complain about that one. Let's see what this guy had. Oh, wow, he raised the ace and the 6. Seems reasonable. We are going to be opening up with the suited ace. If he folds, it's fine by us. If he calls, we will go to our backup plan. He seems to be playing really straightforward poker so far, so we're just going to go ahead. We're going to fire a bet, see if we can just take this down here and now. If he continues, we are done with our hand, but well, unless we pick up some equity, which we don't. Any heart, any 4, any 5 all gave us gut shots. Any ace obviously gave us almost certainly the best hand, so those would have all been potential candidates for double barreling. But when he just flat calls here, I think he's got a hand he's not planning on folding too much, so I wasn't really planning on firing multiple barrels. How on earth were we good there? That makes no sense. The king and the deuce, he calls, okay, so he calls it with king high, so I thought he was playing a little bit more straightforwardly than that. I think his call with king high and then just checking it down like that when we show so much weakness is pretty awful. I think there are a lot better ways to be playing this hand. So we're going to assume, okay, and he gets in the 4 and the 6. This guy's just clicking buttons, so we're not going to put too much thought into what this guy is up to, because he is not thinking at all. He's just click, 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 trying to see if he can get a bit lucky. So we're heads up. We have an even chip stack. We're getting a little over 3 to 1, and we have a king. We're going to call, and we're going to see a flop. We're going to check this flop. We're not folding to the min bet. We still have king high, which is going to be good, I mean, sometimes. And we almost always have equity. When he chooses this sizing, I don't know how strong he's going to be that often. Any king is almost certainly going to be good. Any deuce will likely be ahead of his ace highs and so on. And as I said, king high here, I'm not saying it's always going to be good or it's going to be good that frequently, but when we're getting 3-1 and king high can be good sometimes, we have to make the call. So he has ace high. As I said, I'm not shocked at all to see that, but my assessment was pretty much bang on. Any king, any deuce would have done it. And I mean, as I said, king high is occasionally going to be good there as well. Ace jack, we are raising. He clicks it back on us. We're just going to ship it. Pretty good hand to be getting in heads up if he decides to call. We're ahead. We're flipping-ish. Not a great flop for us, but not the worst. Just need a bit of a hold. He gets there. So we're not flipping well today at all. Not but at all. And we're going to reg another one, though, of course. So we are in again. We just need to wait for it to fill up. That's a shame. If we had won that flip, we would have been obviously almost certain to win the tournament. I think he would have had like maybe 100 chips left, and we would have had like 1400-ish. So we would have almost certainly been picking up the €40. And now we need to win this to. We're still actually not even break even if we win this one, which kind of sucks. But I'm happy with how we're playing. That's the important thing. I mean, every time we've gotten the money in, we've had a huge amount of equity. We've gotten the money in all in 4 times, I think now. 2 of which we had a substantial chip advantage, 1 of which we had an okay advantage, and 1 of which we had a bit of a disadvantage. And we've lost all 4, which is obviously running pretty badly, but I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. It's not absurdly unlucky or anything of the sort. But hopefully, it would be nice to win one before we finish up the session. That is for damn sure. I definitely don't want to get whitewashed on video. That would suck. But as I said, I don't really worry too much about the results. Once I'm happy with how I'm playing, that is the key, isn't that right? If you're making the correct decisions, you are going to be printing money in the long run. The 9 and the deuce is going to be a fold, unfortunately. We've been dealt some pretty decent hands overall. Our hands, on average, have been seriously stronger than average. We've got the pocket 9s. We may just ship this. Let me think. No, a ship would be too much. We are going to re-raise, though. We are going to re-raise for sure. A ship would be a bit of an overplay. We flop a set, which is quite nice. We're just going to bet super small. Like when stacks are this shallow, we don't need to bet large at all. So we're just going to bet really small. We obviously call here. He is top pair and is almost drawing dead. He has outs now. If we lose this one, I'm going to be sad. Oh my god. We are running awfully bad today. We are running awfully bad. Okay, let's go again. Let's go again. That was particularly harsh. Okay, but we're back in again. This is our 4th of the day, so let's see if we can get at 4x or better and get back to even. So we have a 4x, so we have a chance to get even if we just take this one down. All we need to do is take this one down. We've got the king and the 6. We are probably going to defend versus a min raise if that one goes in. If there's a larger than a min raise, we are probably going to fold. Especially after this guy limps. We're happy to check and see a free flop. This is a pretty good one. It's most ace X is going to be raising pre-flop, so we're not hugely concerned. It goes back call, which I don't love, but we are going to go ahead and see a turn. Ace is a great card for us, obviously. Reduces their ace X combos, and in the unlikely event we're against a hand like Queen 10, we have extra outs now, or as in we have some outs. We're going to call again. The 9 completes the flush draw, which is definitely going to be possible. We are going to fold when this guy donks out for pot. Pretty hard to see how we're good here. This guy, if he limps the ace and the deuce, this guy, I don't love his line there at all. We're going to assume that this guy probably isn't one of the better players. We're never folding an ace when he shows down the 10-3 there. We assume that this guy is fairly button clicky, so we're going to be going with our ace here and seeing if we can win a flip this time. Not a great flop for us, that's for sure. Not a great turn, that's for even surer. And we lose yet another all-in. This is getting pretty brutal. This is getting pretty brutal. The ace and the deuce is going to be a jam. Yeah, we've got 9 BBs. We are going to be shipping the money. Yep, let's go. If we take this down without a fight, we increase our stack by a reasonable percentage. And he outflops us again. Oh my goodness. So we've yet to win an all-in. This is awful. Let's go again. Let's go again. So this is probably going to be our last one of the video. We'll see how this one goes. Let's see if we can actually get a win today. So hopefully for a decent per multiplier, it is not, I'm afraid. So if we win this one, I think we're in for like €50 now. So if we win this one, we will be down 30 for the day. And if we lose this one, we will have been completely whitewashed. As I said though, I mean, I don't see many spots where we could have done anything too differently. And like, I mean, like the standard of playing these is just so disgracefully bad. I mean, like open jamming the jack and the 8 here is just atrocious. I just don't understand what's going on. I mean, I don't play spins that often, but I would assume at the €10 level that play will be somewhat reasonable, but it does not appear to be the case. So we're going to fold the 10 and the 3. As I said, this guy, I'm not going to be shocked if he's kind of going to be playing the jamming every hand. He only raises this time, so he's not going to be playing that particular game, but I don't think we can call here. I mean, we're getting 3-1, which is a good price, but we're out of position, and we have essentially the trashiest hand you can possibly have in poker, or close to it. So we're going to go ahead and fold there. We are going to be playing the ace-7 for a raise, so let's go ahead and do that. So this guy calls. He calls pretty quickly. We're going to check back our pair here. This guy seems like he might be in the inducible kind. He doesn't bet though, which is a bit unfortunate, but we're going to have a better sells for value now. If he re-raises us here, we were not planning on folding. And we've got a 5 and a deuce. This guy just open jams. Unfortunately, the 5 high ain't going to cut it, so we're going to go ahead and fold our hand. The 6 and the jack. Given how all in happy this guy is, we are gonna have to fold here as well. When the blinds move up a little bit, like we're still in the first blind level, so when the blind levels start moving up a little bit, so after this hand now, we can start getting a little bit more aggressive. But as I said, like I mean, I don't think that this guy is going to be folding much, so it's basically a case of getting a hand that's going to be ahead of his overall range and just jamming it in versus this kind of player who's going to be reasonably button clicky. We're really card dead, which is one of the worst things that can happen against this kind of guy. Like, I've no problem at all jamming my hands in light, but there's just no point. It's going to be really negative EV versus this guy, who I suspect is going to be calling really, really wide. So, ace-jack, though, we're obviously going to be going with our hand. So, yeah, we're never considering anything but a call here. So we've got the king and the 8, so we have a pretty substantial advantage here. Great card for us, and we win an all-in! My god! I thought it was impossible, but it happens sometimes. Fantastic news. We've got the ace and the 3. We're going to limp and call off if this guy jams. That's our plan, because as I said, I can only assume that this guy is jamming an absolutely absurd large range. I mean, we've seen some of the hands that he's shown down. I think any ace is going to be significantly ahead of his range, so we're going to go ahead and call. So we're flipping to win it. Unfortunately, he flops favorably, and we don't manage to get there. We're still alive. We still have 240 chips. So we lose the flip to get all of the money. There we had a minor advantage, but obviously not a substantial one or anything like that. So we're not going to be too upset about losing that one. In general, like obviously we are running way behind EV so far for this session, but as I said, the variance in these types of games is pretty sick. And I've definitely been on the exact opposite ends of these types of sessions where we've just been hitting absolutely everything, like, you know, getting in, dominated, just getting there every single time. It does go the other way as well. It's just the nature of the game. Because there's so many all-ins, it's going to happen from time to time, unfortunately, when you're on the bad end of it. But when you're on the good end of it, it just feels absolutely amazing, obviously. The queen and the deuce, we're going to have to fold. We're seriously running low on chips now. We've got like less than 7 BBs. The king and the 8 is definitely going to be good enough to... Oh, the blinds have gone up even, so yeah, we're seriously low on chips now. Great flop for us. We just need to fade the jack, which we do. So one more double up and we have the chip lead, and two more all-ins that we win will give us the win, which would be nice. 3 and a 10, not going to be good enough. So I might try to start. I've been kind of taking my time while I've been trying to kind of talk through hands and stuff. I might try acting just a little bit quicker. King 5, we're calling off here for sure. We haven't dominated, which is amazing, but he of course gets there because that's what's happening to us today. Okay, this has been a pretty painful session, guys. But I feel that I've played pretty well, though. So hopefully you have picked up a little something about how to go about playing these games. Obviously, I wasn't profitable today, but in EV terms, I definitely was. We got it in favorably a huge amount of the time, and unfortunately, we just couldn't hold. But as I said, you saw some of the nonsense that these guys were jamming and so on. Like, I mean, I might actually start. I don't really play these games often. I may have to start playing them more because that was a spectacle to behold. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you guys have any questions, queries, as always, post them in the comments section. I'll do my best to respond to you as quickly as I can. This has been Fergal for Poker VIP, grinding the twisters over on Coral Poker. Thank you very much for watching and take care.